There's a price that's calculated just for you, every single day, in almost every single thing you do online. It's a number you'll never see, but it follows you everywhere. Today, we're talking about the price of you.
So let's start with a really simple question. Picture this. You and a friend are both looking at the exact same product, say a pair of headphones. You're on the same website at the exact same second. You both click buy. Should you both pay the same price? I mean, the obvious answer is yes, of course. But the reality of the modern internet? The answer is almost certainly no. You would probably be charged different prices. What you think of as a fixed, stable price tag is actually a moving target, and the thing that's moving it is your personal data. So how is that even possible? Now, you probably have a partial explanation for this already. It's the one most of us have heard of. It's a concept called dynamic pricing. And the idea is pretty simple, right? Prices should be flexible, they should change based on what the market is doing. And while it's not a new idea, technology has basically put it on steroids. But honestly, this is just the beginning of the story.
You've absolutely seen this in action, we all have. We know that surge pricing on Uber or Lyft is going to hit during rush hour. We expect a flight to cost more the day before you leave. This is dynamic pricing in its most obvious form. The price changes based on conditions that pretty much affect everybody. But here's the crucial turning point. This is where it gets personal. The price isn't just changing because of supply and demand anymore. It's changing because of you. It's changing because an algorithm has made a very precise calculation about what you, specifically, are willing to pay.
And that brings us to a much more accurate and, frankly, a much more unsettling term. We're moving beyond just dynamic pricing, and we're stepping right into the world of surveillance pricing.
Surveillance pricing is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. Companies are watching your every digital move, every click, every search, every hesitation to build an incredibly detailed profile of who you are. And that profile is then used to calculate the absolute maximum price they think you'll accept for something right at that moment.
And look, this isn't some fringe conspiracy theory. The chair of the U.S. Federal Trade Commission, Lina Khan, has put it bluntly. This is happening right now, and it's basically the weaponization of our personal data in commerce.
So what kind of data are we even talking about? Well, it's way more than just what you've bought before. We're talking your precise location, your age, your income, what you almost bought but left in your cart. An FTC study even found it includes how you move your mouse on a web page. Did you hesitate? Did you hover? Every single action is a signal, painting a digital portrait that's used to predict your next move. So how in the world does all this data get turned into a unique price just for you in literally the blink of an eye? The answer is a hidden high-speed auction. Think of it like a stock market, but the product being traded is you. The very moment a web page starts to load, a system called real-time bidding, or RTB, kicks into gear. An auction packet with your profile, your location, your browsing habits, all of it, is blasted out to hundreds of companies. Their algorithms place instant bids to show you an ad, or maybe a custom price. The highest bidder wins, and their content appears on your screen. And this whole thing happens in about 100 milliseconds. That is literally faster than you can blink. Before the page even finishes loading, an auction for your attention has already happened, and a winner has been declared. So, what's your privacy worth in one of these lightning-fast auctions? It's a shockingly, almost insultingly small number. On average, it's about 0.05 of a cent. Your digital identity is being sold and resold for fractions of a penny, thousands of times a day. But here's the most shocking part of this entire system. The winner gets to show you the ad, okay? But what about the hundreds of companies that lost the bid? Well, they don't just disappear. They still received that data packet. Your personal information was just broadcast to everyone at the auction. It is, by its very nature, a colossal data breach happening by design over and over again. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this is creepy, but it's just about maybe getting a bad deal on some shoes. But the implications of this technology goes so much further than shopping. This is where the issue blows up from a simple consumer problem into a huge societal one. And we're seeing cutting-edge research, like this thesis from Harvard, showing that the same algorithms that decide the price of a product are quietly becoming the gatekeepers to major life opportunities. And the core issue is that you can't just code your way to a fair algorithm. Why?
Because we as a society can't even agree on a single definition of what fair means. The answer isn't technical, it's a deep reflection of our values and all the trade-offs that come with them.
Because think about it. The exact same system that decides which sneaker ad you see is also deciding which job advertisements you see, which housing listings pop up for you, whether you're even offered a loan, and at what interest rate. By curating your reality, these systems can put a ceiling on your opportunities, all based on your data profile.
This brings us to a fundamental conflict in the world of AI ethics. What do we optimize for? Do we go for individual fairness, where two people with similar data should get treated the same? Or do we aim for group fairness, to make sure different demographics have similar outcomes overall? The tough truth is, you often can't have both at the same time. And in fact, this isn't just a philosophical debate, it's a mathematical certainty. Computer scientists actually prove something called the impossibility theorem. It shows that it is mathematically impossible for any single algorithm to satisfy all of our definitions of fairness at once. Every choice you make is a trade-off. There is no perfect technical fix. So, if the technology itself is inherently flawed and the consequences are this enormous, who's in control? This leads us to the final, and maybe the most complex question of all. Who is actually responsible for this? You'd think the law would have this covered. Let's look at Europe's GDPR. It's the toughest privacy law on the planet. But years after it passed, regulators and lawyers still can't agree on what one of its most important articles even means. Is it a right for you to opt out, or is it an outright ban on companies doing this in the first place? This massive ambiguity leaves the entire practice in a legal gray zone. The problem is, the entire digital economy is built on a web of conflicting interests. Publishers feel like they have to share more data just to compete for ad dollars. Advertisers are sold on the idea that more data always means better results. And the tech giants in the middle, they profit enormously from this huge opaque flow of information. Nobody has a real incentive to stop the machine. And so we're left with this question: when a decision is made not by a person, but by an algorithm in 100 milliseconds, using data you never even knew you gave away, who is ultimately responsible for making sure the outcome is fair? That is the challenge of the world we're building. Thanks for watching.